Hey everyone, this is Al Backman here, Managing Director of Architecture and Platforms here at FP Automation. Welcome back to our series on government contract planning within Microsoft Fabric powered by Acterys. Before I get into today's video on time and materials planning within Fabric powered by Acterys, I'd like to quickly recap on our previous video where we covered cost plus revenue. In our previous video, we talked all about cost plus revenue being a fee applied on top of the fully burdened rate that is calculated by factoring in all indirect costs to projects and allocating them accordingly. In this video, we'll be talking about time and materials and how we are looking at the direct labor cost rate of each individual. So for example, Joelle having a $90 per hour cost rate, so 90 times 13 would be the cost, and this is the direct labor. And then also factoring in what their billable rate should be based on the fully burdened rate. On top of that, we're also going to be talking about the fully burdened rate with profit, which is going to be based on a fee parameter that we'll be able to change, and what the fully burdened rate to break even needs to be in order to be able to charge accordingly on this. So what you can see right here is that we have a certain situation where we have the ability to validate whether or not a project is going to be profitable. And at the end of the day, the biggest question is, what are the ideal rates we need to charge in order to be profitable on a time and materials job, while also taking into account that government contracts also have a limit in terms of how high of a fee you can charge. And generally speaking, that's around 10% on top of what the wrap rate is or fully burdened rate is for a typical project that is time and materials. So in our case right here, let's assume that we want to be able to charge an 8% rate. What this is going to do to our model is this is going to estimate what that rate will be for this particular project. So we can see right here that here is the individual billable rate with fee based on our fully burdened rate with profit for T&M. But here's the fully burdened rate we need to charge in order to be profitable. Now the problem here is that for this particular project, the most that we can charge is a billable rate with fee of this much right here. So in our case, we can see that we have the ability to be able to change these numbers, but in reality, we can only charge this particular billable rate with fee for this particular individual. So we actually have a limit in terms of how much we can charge for this particular project. So if I were to, for example, go ahead and do a select measure function, this is actually another function within the Acterys matrix visual, we can actually right click to select the billable rate with fee or select all. And when we select this and go ahead and hit save, what this is actually going to do is this is going to adjust our billable rate to the particular billable rate that we are calculating using a Power BI DAX measure. Now we can see that the billable rates are aligned. The issue though is when we look at this particular project, we can see this project is not profitable. So in our case right here, what we have the ability to be able to do is not only see this particular project and the contracted revenue that we are projected to earn based on the billable rates, but we can also see whether or not it is or it is not profitable based on our fee parameter estimation, as well as what our fully burdened rate with profit is that we need to take into account based on what typical contracts in the T&M space generally are at. So because of this, we can see right here that this particular project, if we look at each individual, will not be profitable until we achieve this fully burdened rate. So therefore, this is a decision that management has the ability to make to factor in whether or not they should or should not be taking this particular project. What this can do is save hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in T&M projects, depending on the size of your company, due to the fact that you now have this visibility into what your fully burdened rates with profit are and what they should be in order to be able to break even. I hope you enjoyed this particular video. Thank you, and this is Al signing out.